Hi everyone, this is Duncan from the podcast Under the Stairs. This particular video you're checking out just now has the archival recording attached to it. The archival recording is from our podography, I think that's the term that we use, and it will feature reviews of movies that fall under the 88 Films Italian Collection series. Now, the vast majority of reviews we've done over the last 5 years have been in audio format and published on our RSS feed for the podcast. We are transitioning over to give you access to all those reviews right here on YouTube under a playlist. Now, we're doing that because we're about to do our first video recording of 88 Films Italian Collection release, that being Tentacles. So there's plenty of opportunity to delve into the back catalogue of the reviews here. And if you like what you hear, then please hit subscribe on the channel, leave your comments below, and check out the rich catalogue of over 1,200 episodes we have on podcasts Under the Stairs on any podcatching device or Spotify that you use. So stick around, enjoy the episode, and I'll speak to you very soon.
¡Por favor! ¡Dios! ¡Ayúdame!
Stop hitting me!
And welcome back. So you've just heard the trailer for disc number 51 in the Italian collection here. This is Killer Crocodile 2. Let's go to the back of the box, because sadly the website doesn't give you the blurb for both of these movies, only for the first one. So this is what it says in the back of the box. If you go back into the swamps today, be sure of a big surprise. From the special effects guru Gianetto De Rossi of Dune comes this blood-soaked follow-up to Killer Crocodile. The swamps of Santo Domingo are still haunted by the waste of the industrial industry, and Anthony Crenna of The Blob is out to prove the dangers plaguing the local water sources with the help of a reporter and love interest, Lisa, played by Deborah Carr. At the same time, a greedy property developer pushes to secure a location for his pet project, a swanky new holiday resort overlooking a toxic river, despite the area's problems with a mutated killer crocodile chowing down anyone dumb enough to enter the water. Stepping behind the camera for his first and to date only time, BAFTA nominee Giannato De Rossi, who's also credited on The Last Emperor, amps up the gore, set pieces and general nastiness to cement the sequel's place in the annals of exploitation. Hold on to your limbs, because Killer Crocodile 2 is not only bigger and badder than anything that's gone before, but it's also beautiful, thanks to this lush 2K restoration from 88 Films. The bonus features on the disc are a brand new 2K remaster from the original 35mm negatives in 185:1 aspect ratio, remastered uncompressed English audio, optional SDH subtitles, remastered uncompressed Italian audio with newly translated subtitles, Maidens and Flesh Eaters, a career-spanning interview with the FX master Giannetti De Rosso, deleted scenes, trailer, reversible sleeve with newly created artwork by Jeremy Paulner and the original Italian poster art. So, Killer Crocodile 2 is very much like everyone said it was, a big ball of nonsense entertainment. I had a lot of fun with this one. Truth be told, I thought in some respects some of the deaths and setups were better than the first one, and in other extents they completely shat the bed. There's a scene here which kind of opens our movie with them in like open seawater when the crocodile attacks, which I'm just assuming no one that worked on set knew that crocodiles can't do that. Freshwater, not seawater. I'm assuming that's the case. That was my assumption. And it was very Jaws-y, very Jaws rip-off, and we've got the music playing in the background, which is once again very Jaws-y. I want to say the music's done by Ritz Ortoleone, but it's incredibly Jaws-y. It's I kind of thought at that point I was like, oh, we've jumped for lack of a better term, jumped the shark here on this one, and this might get a bit cringy. But then it slips into familiar territory. It uses a lot of the same set pieces as what you've seen before. Uses some of the same characters. It has flashback sequences. Ultimately ends pretty much the same way the first movie ends. We're basically almost doing a remake of sorts, except we exist in a world now that we are fully aware of the Killer Crocodile. Some of the crocodile stuff is still rad though. There's a scene where there are some kind of industrialist poacher sort of guys staying in a cabin, and the crocodile's head comes through, and it's this massive prop, and as it's pulling back out, you've got this building being pulled by this croc, and there's all sorts of camera trickery there for sure. But I really, really dug it. I thought it was a striking visual effect for 1990. And then you have to juxtapose that with scenes of a character attacking a crocodile, and it is literally a toy doll and a toy crocodile being splashed in what I would imagine is a bathtub. Which kind of undoes some of that hard work. It's goofy and it's fun and it's exploitation at its core, but I don't necessarily know if when making this movie everyone was on board to give the best in the effects, which is surprising considering the guy behind the camera is, so lauded for his, visual effects work. You would just expect it to be on a higher level. I imagine budgetary constraints were tight here, and that's maybe what undid it. The acting, I think, in this one is marginally better than the acting in the first instalment. I think people appear to be giving this the right sort of credit in the way they perform. No one's taking it ridiculously serious, but at the same time, no one's rolling their eyes when they're saying their dialogue, and I think that aids the movie somewhat as well. The runtime also aids this one. It's under an hour and a half, which is a movie I will want to watch any day of the week. And it keeps it tight, keeps the movie quite close, and gets through all the beats that it needs to. I mean, the plot's nonsense, and it's as equally nonsense as anything that we saw in the first one, but then it's as equally as nonsense as anything we saw in Alligator from the early 80s. So you just have to sometimes roll with eco horror as being a steroid injected manifestation of look at what we're doing to nature. If we don't stop, massive killer crocodiles will be chewing our legs off. I think the other thing that kind of stood out for me is the camera work is actually really good in this. So cinematography works really well. We're basically using the same score as the previous movie, but there's some playful angles and shots that are being delivered here in a cinematography point of view, which, as my brain was starting to wander off as some of the dialogue came over, the dialogue is not great in this movie, I started to appreciate a lot more of what was happening behind the camera, and you know, they really managed to nail a lot of those aspects down in a way which felt satisfying to me. I mean, Killer Crocodile 2 is essentially a rehash of Killer Crocodile, and considering it's 1 year apart, it doesn't really surprise me. What surprised me is they managed to get 2 movies, you know, financed, greenlit and done back to back. And the fact that you have returning characters as well, I think is, you know, as a sign that people involved with the project, even if it did run straight into the second movie shoot, the people were invested in what we're doing, or at least wanted to do what they were doing on the screen, which I think goes a long way, especially in exploitation. Some people get a bit, for lack of a better word, embarrassed about being involved with exploitation cinema, and as soon as they can, the first opportunity they have, they will bounce. But everyone here seemed to be enjoying it. And I would say the weird thing is, if you have never seen Killer Croc, you could probably watch Killer Crocodile too. I mean, it gives you enough flashback and context pretty quick, and it's essentially the same movie. You know, we're not really getting anything above and beyond. So yeah, overall, some of it is kind of cool. I like some of the special effects at times are very ropey, and kind of see through. The kind of 2K restoration doesn't help, although the 2K restoration is bitching, and that's why it doesn't help. And overall, it was okay for what it is. I have nothing really much more to say about it. I feel like I've already had this conversation just 3 weeks ago when I was talking about the first instalment. I would say if you're into eco-horror, if you're into animal or nature run-em-up movies, if you're into Italian exploitation, then this is almost a mandatory purchase. I'd never seen any of them before sitting down to do this run, and I will watch both of these movies again. I know that for a fact, and that kind of makes me happy. It's not often that I get like as giddy about sitting down to watch something again as much as I did with these 2 movies. I think overall this one scores a 4 out of 5. I really liked it, but then I really liked the first one. I can see the holes and I could shoot peas through them, they're that big. But I don't know, there's something kind of... It's the entertainment vibe from it that I think sells the movie for me, and not a lot else if I'm honest. But entertainment can get you a whole hell of a lot of the way in my good graces, and both Killer Crocodile movies have it in spades. And this one, yeah, maybe not as good as the first one, but definitely entertained me. That hour and 20 odd fucking flew in. So a 4 out of 5 for Killer Crocodile 2. The box set is available for a reasonable price wherever you can buy Blu-rays, so go and check it out if you get the chance.